I challenged myself to get better in Blender in 5 days for game development, and I accept my own challenge. But what exactly is better? For that, we're gonna need to look at my current Blender skills. Alright, so some things I already know in Blender is mainly going to be keybinds, things such as subdividing quickly, creasing, moving your cursors, whatever. Extremely essential for Blender if you want to work fast. You honestly can't go without it. And here are some examples of things I've already made. This chain, which has way too many triangles for no reason. This desk lamp. Tana, which I'm actually pretty proud of, but the guard on the other hand is kinda ass, I'm not gonna lie. A kunai, it's not bad. I think it has like weird shit going on in the top here, which I never fixed. So, I consider myself better when I can make weapons and assets in a similar art style as Riot Games, with clean topology. With this challenge being 5 days long, I'm gonna split it up into 3 parts. The first 2 days I'll focus on knives and swords, the second 2 days I'll focus on guns, and the final day I'll work on an environmental asset. I kinda forgot to press record for day 1, so we're gonna speedrun it real quick. Anyway, here are the results for day 1. And boom, here's the results for day 1. I got the reference here in the background, which I got off of Pinterest. I'm honestly surprised with how it turned out. Maybe I'm underestimating my own skills. Wait, the handle doesn't even make sense. Yeah, that does not make sense. As for topology, it's not too bad from our first day. It was a little hard to get the circle here, and it's still not perfect, but it works, I guess. The blade on the other hand is pretty clean, I would say. And we ended up with a little over 1000 triangles. Not too bad. Anyway, let me know what you would rate this model. As for today's meme, nice. For day 2 I asked my brother to name me any weapon from any game as long as it has a Riot Games art style. And he mentioned 2 weapons, Jinx her rocket launcher and Kane's scythe. And I'm not gonna lie, I let my lack of confidence get the best of me and I chose Kane's scythe. But I'll make up for it tomorrow, don't worry. What really surprised me here is that it only took me 2 hours to model the scythe. 2 hours is long, but I was honestly expecting to take twice as long. Alright, here are the results for day 2. Got this off of Google Images this time, and the model is basically 1-to-1. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I'm seriously like surprised with how I even did this. Like, I could not have imagined myself doing this anytime soon. So let's take a look at the topology. The topology looks pretty clean. I could have probably lined these up a little bit better maybe. I'm actually kind of impressed by my own work here because I'm not increasing the poly count here as much while still keeping all quads. These are all quads. So I think topology has greatly improved in just 1 day. Once again, let me know what you would rate today's model. As for today's meme, I went ahead and did the rocket launcher anyway. Honestly, just by looking at this, I feel like I'm gonna die. This was my first model that wasn't like just flat and square with just a sharp edge and that's it. Like, this one had rounded shapes, everything was kind of curved, and that made me think a lot more in 3D than before. I had to really think a lot, which is why I couldn't make as much progress as I wanted to. But I also feel like I really learned a lot because of this, especially because in game development a lot of things are going to be, assuming you're going to make a 3D game, circular, or nothing is really going to be just flat squares. And that is why I'm really happy I took on this rocket launcher as a challenge for today, because I feel like if I didn't, I would have really lost a lot of my confidence knowing I didn't take this on. And this is what's really going to push you to become better at a certain skill, especially when you feel like you can't do it. And the results, unfortunately, this is as far as I could get it done for today. It was a real struggle, I'm not gonna lie. It makes sense why I was scared of this one. I think I could actually finish everything in here with enough time. The hardest part would be the teeth over here and the head, especially the cracks if I had to actually model it in. Alright, as always, give your rating below in the comments. Let's look at today's meme.
6, 7.
Stop.
Alright, today I'm making a gun. I'm not just gonna make a normal gun, no. I want it to be a little bit more usable for game dev, which means I'll probably need to model the inside parts as well. So with the design done, let's get this into Blender and start modeling. I managed to finish this model within a little over 3 hours. It took me just an hour longer than the scythe I made, and the results are just so much better. And you'll see very soon why. So let's finish this time lapse. I'll show you exactly why I think it's better than the scythe. Alright, here it is. You've seen me draw this. Oh, I mean, look at this. I'm actually so proud of this. I went into detail as much as I could. So this right here. Normally I would probably have skipped this, even in here. can see the little gap for where it opens. I could definitely see myself use this in a game somewhere. Okay, so here's actually a very dumb mistake I made. When I was designing the gun, originally I was like, we're gonna rotate it from here because it's gonna move like down here. I'm so dumb. I did not realize that just makes absolutely no sense. So I changed up the whole design and then it turns out it's wrong. So I could have just went for the emblem, which I really liked. Let me first show you this. Looks nice, but what do you know about this? Okay, the animation was done in like 5 minutes, so cut me some slack on that part, but okay, it's a little bit high in the triangles, but it makes sense. It has some smaller details. Honestly, I could have removed this so easily. Nobody's gonna see that. Today's the exact opposite of yesterday. Yesterday was a complete failure and today is like a complete success. Once again, as always, let me know your rating. And let's take a look at the meme of today. We've now reached day 5, which means we're going to be working on the asset, and boy did I underestimate this. What the hell is this? I wasn't happy with the result, so I tried again. I went for one that was a little bit easier because the mouth was closed. And here are the results for day 5. As you can see, it looks very plain, which I did intentionally because I'm learning to make game assets, so you gotta think of optimization a little bit. I want to go for a hand painted texture, so I kept the shapes very simple and assumed everything else would be drawn in. If you look at this, a little bit of an indentation, which you can very easily draw in there. I'm not gonna lie, it is a little bit disappointing. Bye bye. I think this challenge was a success because thanks to this I got the confidence I needed to start applying for commissions, and this allowed me to make some pretty cool assets for people, ones I previously thought to be impossible for me to make. Thank you so much for watching. I would really appreciate a like, subscribe.